What is up, everybody, and welcome to the first ever Dudes Who Bet Sports.
So you want to bet sports, but you need some advice on how to cash in big at a heck of a price. Well, if you want enough money to line your shorts, then you're in the right place. This is Dudes Who Bet Sports. Dudes Who Bet Sports, it's your favorite show. Dudes Who Bet Sports, where degenerates go. Dudes Who Bet Sports, time to change your approach with Aaron Halterman and his father, the coach. Let's ride.
Well, the Associated Press is full of shit.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Dudes Who Bet Sports show. Papa Dude, I did not change the banner. Why did I not do that? Boy, I'm 0 for 1 already. There we go. There's what we wanted. So now we got the right background. Shotty's here, and now it's a party. Shotty said she's not missing this one. What's up, Papa Dude?
Not a thing. I just talked to you about an hour and a half ago. Nothing's changed, so we're ready to roll here.
Everything has changed. Baker Mayfield is now a Carolina Panther. What are you talking about?
Yeah. And when you told me I knew that had happened, but I didn't read the details. You're saying that Cleveland got a 5th round draft pick.
Yeah, it's a conditional draft pick. It'll either be a 4th round or a 5th round, depending on how much Baker plays. So, I mean, Carolina basically got him for very little to nothing. Yeah. Carolina will pay like $5 million, I think, to him, and then $10 million will be paid by the Browns. So, yeah, I mean, in terms of what the NFL is, and I mean that's nothing basically.
No, it just shows you how his value has gone down. That's what it tells me.
Oh, big time. I would let this be a lesson to any athlete out there. This whole thing about you play hurt and you try to be tough and you try to stick it out and all that stuff. Don't ever do it.
No.
Because at the end of not this season, but the last season, his stock had never been higher. Right. And then he went out there and he got hurt in game 2 and he tried to play through. And then, boom, he's gone. He had a bad season, and that's it. So you never want to do that, and that's why.
Nope, and then he shot his mouth off when it looked bad at the end of the year. Mm-hmm. But you're right. Had he sat out and not played, and you got to ask yourself, too, why did Cleveland let him play? And maybe I don't get that either.
Yeah. He
was obviously hurt. But he's got another chance to make up for it, and it's Cleveland's loss, basically, if you look at, and they may end up starting the season without a quality quarterback. So I don't know what they're doing. I just don't. So
game 1 of the season, Cleveland at Carolina.
Yeah.
You can't make that up. And it could be Jacoby Brissett for Cleveland, so that would be incredible if that was the case.
And there's no guarantee Baker's going to start for Carolina because
it absolutely could be Sam Darnold. It could be Matt Corral too. Right. So I mean, yeah.
But to get a guy of his quality who has proven he can win games in the NFL for $5 million and a 4th or 5th round pick, which that's not much.
Yeah,
that's a pretty good deal for Carolina, in my opinion.
I think Carolina, it's a real good deal, and the Browns. I mean, and obviously they couldn't get anything out of him, so maybe that's the best they could do. But yeah, I think Carolina, it's worth the risk. I mean, you don't have a quarterback really anyway. It's kind of a stopgap. You're hoping until the kid from Mississippi.
That's right. So so I think it's a great move for the Panthers. I think he's got a chance to do okay there. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens. See if he beats out Sam Darnold. You'd have to think Carolina is not high on Darnold because they wouldn't. I mean, Baker could mess up whatever chemistry they may have. I mean, he's not that kind of guy, but he's going to go in there expecting to play.
I would think there's no doubt Sam Darnold is probably not the one he's worried about beating out. I'd say the rookie is going to be the one that the Panthers are going to be inclined to play. And so we'll see what happens. Listen, the Panthers were on a pretty good roll to start the season last year, and Sam Darnold became Sam Darnold, and then that was it. So we'll see if they can get some improvement. They wouldn't have made that move if they were confident in him. That's for sure.
No, they wouldn't, because if they were confident in Darnold, he would groom Corral.
Correct.
Yeah, but they're not. So I think it's a very, very interesting move and a situation to watch this summer.
Yeah, I do too. I think it's going to be fun. And like I said, this is the Dude 2 Bet Sports Show. We started off with sports. Now we'll go to racing, and then we'll end with sports.
All right.
We have a knack. Every time we go live, 1 minute before we go live, something happens.
Yeah.
And then we have to cover it. So, yeah, Baker Mayfield to Carolina. We'll see how that falls out. All right. We're going to talk about horse racing now, though. We're going to pivot to 7 stakes races. First look. This is the first look show again, just like last week. We have first look at 7 big stakes races going on Saturday. We truly are spread out this weekend. Prairie Meadows, Horseshoe Indianapolis, and Belmont Park, obviously, for their closing weekend card. So there's a lot of stuff going on. We're going to start with the track that's near and dear to our hearts, Prairie Meadows. It's the Iowa Festival of Racing. It starts on Friday, and it concludes on Saturday. We're going to talk about the last 3 races during the Iowa Festival of Racing this season. And we're going to start with race 7. It's the Iowa Oaks going 1 mile and a 16th for 3-year-olds. It's a grade 3 event, $225,000 purse. We've got a field of 8. It's not great, but I'll run down who we got, and then I'll kick it over to Papa Dude. We've got the number 1, Free Like a Girl, who won a Louisiana Bred Stakes at Evangeline Downs last time out. The number 2 is Miss Hard Knocks. This horse gets back to the dirt after trying the turf last time out at Canterbury. Wasn't running real well over the dirt since February. We have the number 3, Falcon Net. This will be a Todd Pletcher shipper. Horses won 2 in a row, and including an allowance at Churchill Downs last time out. The number 4 is Butterbean. Butterbean won the Panther Stakes at Prairie Meadows by almost 6 lengths last time out. That's the local prep race for the Iowa Oaks. The number 5, my friend Amy, last time out was second in an allowance at Lone Star. 2 races back, was able to win a Lone Star allowance race. The number 6 is Candy Raid, another horse getting back to the dirt after running 5th in the Regret on the turf at Churchill Downs. 2 races back, this horse was in the Kentucky Derby, the Kentucky Oaks, finished 9th at 54-1. The number 7 is Hartley. She was second in the Panther Stakes last time out to Butterbean. And the number 10 is the number 8 is No Silver Spoon here, was second last time out in allowance. First start for Hiles. All right, field of 8 there. All right, Papa Dude, where are we going to kick off the Iowa Festival of Racing?
All right, before we get started, you and I, this used to be must-see in-person racing for us. We've kind of, shall we say, outgrown Prairie Meadows maybe a little bit. Just for some reason, I just don't get up there anymore. We used to go once a year. I haven't been in a long time. You've been since I have. It's a neat little place. Well, it's not little. It's a huge casino. It's what they call a racino. But it's really a pretty place to watch racing. It's just kind of deteriorated a little bit on the racing side the last few years. And they used to attract a little bit better field than what they do now. Mm-hmm. I zeroed in on 4 horses. I'll throw them out there and see if you're kind of similar. I zeroed in on the 1, the 3, the 4, and the 6. Anything different on you?
No, I really think it's going to be between the 3 and the 4. That's the 2 that I like in this spot. So
me too.
Go ahead. Who you've got on top?
Here's the thing. The 6 is entered, I believe, this is in Indiana. The 6 is entered in the Indiana Oaks. So we don't know for sure which one he will go to, or she will go to. You have any insight on that?
Well, it's going to be interesting to see. We've got a couple of horses cross-entered in the Indiana Derby as well. As far as Candy Raid, I have not heard where the horse is going. Now, here's the deal. The horse has been working out at Churchill Downs. You would think that means you're going to go up to Horseshoe Indianapolis. It's just a small drive up there. Yeah. If I was a betting man, which I am, I think the 6 will go to Indiana.
I would think so too. Got the same jockey, either place. There's no difference in that. So I didn't really look at the 6 in this race too much because I'm thinking she's going to go to Indiana. I'm like you. I really like the 3. a lot. And the 4, because the 4 ran extremely well at Prairie last time out and won by 6 lengths in the prep for this race. Hasn't done a whole lot, but neither has the 3. But when you look right down to it, none of them have in this race. There's not really a standout in this one. So I think the 4 at 5-1 is a really good play, and probably get bet down a little, I would think, wouldn't you? Especially, if Candy Raid's not in it, it's going to get bet down. Probably, I would say to 3-1 maybe, since it won the prep. What are you thinking on that?
Yeah, I would think you're probably going to, just guessing, I would say Falcon Net will be the favorite and probably be about 8-5. And yeah, I would say the 4 will be 3-1.
Yeah.
And then maybe the 1 is about 4-1. That'd be my guess.
Now, what do you think of the 1? Because the 1 has won a lot of races.
The 1, Free Like a Girl, has won a ton of races. They've been against Louisiana breds. This will be the horse's first race against Open Company since June of the 2-year-old season, where she was 3rd at Lone Star against Open Company. She has this horse is really not for me in this spot. Yeah. I have respect for the horse, but I think this is a weird spot for her.
Right. She did finish 4th in the Honeybee.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, there you go. There was, I forgot about that.
That gives me a little hope. I would place her 3rd. I think she's decent. I like horses that have won a lot. I know she hasn't been up against Open Company much, but this isn't just a tremendous field, I don't think. So I think she could get in there and hit something. I know on one service we use they picked the 8 to win it. No Silver Spoon, but I just didn't see much that I liked on that one. Now Dennis likes it, and that's a good sign.
Yes, we'll go through some of the comments now. Shotty thinks it's between the 3 and the 4 and has the 5 mixed in with exotics. That's my friend Amy. That's a horse, like I said, been running down at Lone Star, got a win, and then got another allowance win, and then got 2nd in an allowance. So she thinks that horse could hit the board. Let's see what Dennis has to say about the 8. He says, I love the 8. Was touted on the horse last time out, and Corey Lannery rode awful. And they believe in the horse so much that they showed up here. Let's talk about the 8 then. Yeah, an Aiden Claimer, but it was a $100,000 Aiden Claimer win on debut at Keeneland and really looked good. Last time out, even though you might blame Lannery for the loss, the horse still ran pretty well to get 2nd, only beaten a half length. Salute the Flag, not too bad of a horse for sure. Yeah, I think it's a good spot. Here. I do. I think it's a good spot to give the 8 another try. What did you think?
Yeah, I think so. Now that you've explained it better, because you know them a lot better than I do, I don't know why you wouldn't look at it at 6-1. And obviously, people are asking us about Cabrera. He's obviously back, or he wouldn't be scheduled to ride this horse. He is a very good jockey that runs extremely well at Prairie Meadows. So I think that's something to look at too.
Well, Daniel brought it up, and he says, Aaron, I see that Cabrera is on the 8 horse. He's back from injury. He was on a roll, and boy, yeah, Daniel, I'm sure you were probably watching during Oaklawn when we were covering it, and we talked about Cabrera a lot. And yeah, it's good to have him back. He had a pretty bad spill there at Oaklawn, missed a lot of time. And like Davey said, he's a very good jockey, especially here in this circuit in the kind of the Midwest, I would call it. Or Southwest, depending on where he's located at the time. But yeah, David Cabrera back, gonna get tuned up and probably be tough down at Remington here in a few weeks.
Well, and I tell you, he won a ton of races at Oaklawn, and if you can win a ton of races at Oaklawn, you're a pretty good jockey. I'll tell you for sure. So he can hold his own with anybody up here at Prairie Meadows.
Yeah. We've got to give a shout out to Isaac. We haven't seen him in a while. It says "Go Warriors." Isaac, a huge Warriors fan. All right, Isaac, they got it done. And he also says, really big news, Johnny Depp is back with Disney.
Okay.
So we've got all the breaking news, Baker. Mayfield's been traded. Johnny Depp's back with Disney. So this is big. So Davey says he can't wait for Remington to start back up. Yep, I can't either. Hopefully
it won't be long.
A few times. All right, who we got on top, Papa Dude? Who you picking?
I'm like you. I like the 4 a lot. I think I will go 4, 3, 1, 8.
All right, Papa Dude's going 4, 3, 1, and 8. I'm just going to take that 3. I'm going to go 3, 4, and 8 for the top 3 there. Maybe the 1 gets up for 4th. But, yeah, I do like the 3 quite a bit, and that's who I'll put on top for that one. As of now, final pick, well, I don't think we're doing that one, actually, for blinkers off, so don't worry about that. All right, let's go to the next one. The Iowa Derby is next. And we've got a field of 10 for this year's running of the race. It's a $250,000 purse going a mile on the 16th. It'll be race 8 on the card. And we got, like I said, 10 3-year-olds. I'll read them off real quick for everybody. The number 1 is Rome. He was the winner of the Prairie Mile. That is the prep for this. So the local prep winner is number 1, Rome. Number 2 is Big Blue Line. He goes for his 3rd straight win in a row, after winning 2 straight at Churchill Downs. The number 3 is Major General for Todd Pletcher. This horse has kind of been all over the place. He got 2nd in the Lexington 3 races back, then was nowhere to be found in the Pat Day. And then they tried turf, and he was not good again. Now he shows up here. The number 4 horse is Acutor. I can't say that name. Tried 2 races on the turf, got 3rd in both of them, moved to the dirt, going maiden special weight, 7 furlongs, and dominated at Churchill Downs last time out. Number 4 is Conager, and this horse, another one, got back to the dirt 2 races back, dominated Allowance Company at Keeneland, then came back and won another allowance in dominant fashion at Churchill Downs. He beat Goodnight, and Goodnight came back to win last week at Churchill Downs in a listed stakes race. Also, Goodnight, a grade 1 winner as a 2-year-old. The 6 horse is Feel the Fear. This horse was 2nd to Rome last time out in the Prairie Mile. The 7 is Diamond Rim. This horse was 5th last time out in the Prairie Mile. We'll keep the theme going. The number 8 is Ain't Life Grand. He was 3rd last time out in the Prairie Mile. He's an Iowa bred that will be trying Open Company in this spot for the 3rd straight race. The number 9, Rattle and Roll, will scratch. Rattle and Roll will run in the Indiana Derby, so he is out of the Iowa Derby. And then the number 10 is Chilano, and this horse comes off a maiden special weight win last time out at Churchill Downs. That's the full field of 10. Who do we like here?
Can I say I don't like anybody?
No, it's not a strong race, yeah.
Well, I have to pick somebody, don't I? Normally I wouldn't pick anybody, I don't think, in this thing. I circled the 3, the 4, and the 5. Now the 4 is in the Indiana Derby also. That's another one. So we'll have to decide on that one whether
this is another one that is working out at Churchill Downs. I'm assuming he's going to go to Indiana, but I do not know that for sure.
Yeah, I would too. So that would get rid of him. So I kind of looked at the 1 a little bit. I don't like the trainer that well. I think this is a very weak field, and I would not be a bit surprised if we have a big upset in this. I don't care for the Asmussen horse very well. You got any other ideas? I mean, I've picked Major General before. I forget where it was at. I think it was the Pat Day, maybe. And he was terrible. I think he's probably got more class than anybody else. So I think it's between the 3 and the 5 for me.
Yeah, it's to me, I don't want to play any part of Major General at all. The 5 Conager is my top pick, and I think it's going to be one of 2 things. I think this horse will beat this field by multiple lengths, or I don't think he'll be able to get the distance, and I think it's going to be a big upset if Conager doesn't win. I don't see Big Blue Line winning. I don't see Major General. I think the 4 is going to Indiana. I just think Conager is going to roll here, and if he doesn't get the distance, then I think it becomes crazy, and it becomes wide open.
Yep. I think this is by far the weakest Iowa Derby I've ever seen.
It's pretty bad. It's not great. Yeah, like I said, it's field of 10, and we're thinking the 2 horses will scratch out of this. So yeah, with Rattle and Roll and Acutor. So I guess that's how you say that.
Daniel makes a very good point. You've got Elliott coming up to ride. He's at Lone Star for Asmussen, and he's coming up here to ride that horse. Of course, he's got another one too in the next race that he's really coming up for. But I just can't go with that horse. He just hasn't done anything. He broke his maiden last time out, and he hadn't shown much before that either.
I'd be surprised, Daniel, if the 10 does much here. It took 10 races to break the maiden.
Right.
Finally got it done. I've been running against some decent horses, though. Got beat by Best Actor at Oaklawn, and Best Actor is a horse that I'm going to pick in the Indiana Derby. Got beat by We the People in a maiden race. Beat by Kuchar. He's not bad. I mean, he's faced some good ones.
He has.
Yeah. But
you still got to win. So, I mean, that's a lot of races before you finally break your maiden.
Yeah. I am thinking the Iowa bred 8 Life Grand does have a shot here to hit the board. You look at this horse, when he goes 2 turns, he runs very well. He was 3rd last time out in the Prairie Mile. Look, there's a lot of pace here. The horse wants longer. It's the 3rd start off the layoffs. They've kind of targeted the spot. Do you think 8 Life Grand has any kind of shot in this one?
No.
I just not going to back 8 Life Grand.
Huh?
You're not going to back him in this spot.
No. I know. This feels not very strong. So, but he had neither. No.
Yeah.
I mean, Iowa bred, I don't think so.
Yeah, I think it's going to have to kind of come back to him a little bit. I do think he'll finish up pretty strongly. Maybe get up in the money, make the exacta, trifecta, maybe super pay a little bit. But
maybe,
yeah, I really think this is a 1-horse race, and I think it's Conager's race to lose. And if he shows up and doesn't run that well, then this becomes a wide open crapshoot. We've seen that up at Iowa before.
Oh, it has. Normally, the big favorites don't win in these big races at Iowa. They really don't. Yeah. There's usually upsets all over the place. This will be a horse that's never won a stakes race. I don't think it's even ever run in a stakes race, has it?
Right, exactly. And I envision this horse. By the way, these are the worst morning lines in the history of morning lines. I envision the 5 to be like 3-5. So don't even think about 4-1. Hopefully he's like 6-5. But yeah, he's going to get bet pretty hard.
Well, Major General's 2-1 because of Pletcher and Castellano. That's the reason.
Yeah. Usually horses that are coming from Churchill Downs do very well at this festival. So that's another thing to kind of keep an eye on as we go along. Eric chimes in. He says, was just there at Prairie Meadows last weekend. The facility is really nice. Yes,
it is.
Yeah.
It reminds me of a county fair kind of. You sit outside. There's picnic tables. It's in middle Iowa. The humidity's not very bad. They run a lot of races at night, and it's very pleasant to sit and watch the races. The weather's usually really good.
Yeah, usually during some of the nights they'll start at like 6:00, and it's definitely nice. Definitely nice.
Yep.
All right, let's move on to the feature. It's the Cornhusker, and let's not forget last year, Nick's Go won the Cornhusker on his way to the Breeders' Cup Classic. So
yes,
unbelievable that happened. It's the the Prairie Meadows Cornhusker Handicap, going a 1 1/8, race 9 on the card, $300,000 purse. Shorter field this time, just a field of 6. We'll read them off. Number 1 is Flash of Mischief. He was 7th last time out in the Sexton Mile. And then 2 races back was 4th in an allowance at Lone Star. So he hasn't shown much the last 2 races. Officiating is the 2-horse. Last time out was 3rd in the Run Happy at Belmont Park. And hasn't really stretched out and went this distance for a while. Looks like the longest distance here lately has been at 1 mile. So he'll give it a shot here. The number 3 is Silver Prospector. You said it. I think Elliott's coming to ride this horse for Asmussen more than anything. Winner of the Sexton Mile last time out at Lone Star Park by 1.5 lengths. We'll see if he can make it 2 in a row for Asmussen. The number 4 Rated R Superstar, of course, got hot at Oaklawn Park this year with a couple of wins. David Cabrera is back, and he is back aboard this horse. I'm sure he's very happy about that. Hasn't done much lately, though. This horse was fifth, beaten 8 in the Sexton Mile last time out. Number 5 is Warrant, coming off a second-place finish in the 1.5 mile Brooklyn Stakes on Belmont Stakes Day. See if he can get that turned around. Of course, 3 races back, he was second by a head in the 1.25 mile Santa Anita Handicap. Boy, he just barely lost to Express Train. And the number 6 is Fleet Ridge. He's coming off an allowance win at Prairie Meadows last time out by 3 3/4 lengths. All right, who do we like in this one?
Well, I think this is a good one. We got Warrant, who I hate because every time I pick him, he loses. Let's talk about the 4 for a minute. One of my all-time favorite horses, but appears to be showing some age. I don't really worry about the Sexton Mile because I don't understand why they put him in a mile race. That's not his deal. I think they were just trying something because he ran terrible in the Oakland handicap. And that's the one that I'm looking at as, he was not the favorite, but a lot of people thought he would run really well because he had won 2 other stakes races at Oakland and was in great form. I think he finished 9th in the, it was 7th in the handicap. And that kind of was a sign to me that age might be starting to catch up to this guy. He's what a horse, 9 years old, runs well almost every time. So to me, this comes down between the horse I hate, Warrant, and number 3, Silver Prospector. And I think you got to look at 2 officiating a little bit. When you look at Warrant and you see what he's done, he's obviously the class of the race, don't you think? I mean, he's running big-time stuff. Now, he was 3rd in the Grade 3 Louisiana Stakes. He was 2nd in the Santa Anita Handicap, which was a Grade 1. He was 3rd in a Grade 3 at Keeneland, 2nd in the Grade 2 Brooklyn at Belmont. I mean, these are races that are better than most of these other horses have been in. So if he's ready and if he runs well, he's going to be my pick. But I think he's going to get bet way down too.
He'll be my single. I think he'll dominate in the spot. I really do. You look at what this horse did last year. He was super good. He kicked off this year. He faced Mandaloon and Midnight Bourbon at first out. That's always going to be tough. Like I said, ran well at Santa Anita. That field wasn't great, but he ran very well. The race in the Ben Ali is probably the one that people are going to look at and say, that was not good. But you know what? He got beat by Scalding. That's a really good horse. He got beat by Dynamic One. That horse has come back to win. He's going to be a favorite in the Suburban. He got beat by Proxy, and that horse just chunks up and gets 3rd in all those races. That race turned out to be a lot tougher than what we thought it was going in. And then last time out, losing to Fearless, that's no big deal. And he beat this horse beat Lone Rock in a 1.5 miles. Now you're telling me you got to beat Rated R Superstar?
Yeah.
Officiating?
Silver Prospector. That's not that's one of those hard knocking horses that's just not really that good.
No, I think Warrant gets it done here.
I do too.
I don't think it'll be much of a problem for him.
He ran great in the last race against Fearless.
Yep.
He almost won that race. So he should win if he's ready. And there's no reason why he's not ready. The thing's going to be, he's probably going to be 4 to 5.
Yeah.
I would think. Now, Asmussen is going to take money up there because he always does, because it's Asmussen. So I think he probably, you're going to have 2 heavy favorites. The rest won't be. Their odds will be pretty good, probably. I don't know how they feel about Rated R Superstar in Iowa. I mean, Villafranco wins a lot of races there, but I don't think I don't think he'll be 3 to 1. I think he'll be 5 to 1, probably, maybe even 6.
Yeah, this will be his. I think it'll be his 3rd or maybe even 4th straight start in the Cornhusker. Could be his 3rd. He's gotten 3rd 2 straight years, so, and that's probably where I see him going here as well. I just think Warrant's a little bit more classy.
Me too. Yeah, I hope Rated R wins, but I just don't see any way.
Yeah. Dennis asked, with Florent Giroux now going to Del Mar, our thoughts on that? I I think it's good for Brad Cox. I'll just say that. I'm not a fan.
I don't think Brad Cox is going to have any problem finding another jockey. Do you?
No, I really don't. I really don't. And I like Flavian, but I don't think he's like top notch. I think Brad will be fine.
Davey's got an interesting question here too. He said, did Caprera choose to be on rated R over Flash? I would say yes. Wouldn't you?
Yeah, I would say that's the case. Yeah.
He's ridden this horse a lot.
Yeah, I think this is just one that he loves to ride this horse. Yeah. It fits him really well. And they had that success at Oaklawn. And I think when you go down to Oaklawn and you win the 5th season and you also win the Essex, you're not going to jump off this horse for just anybody. So that's kind of what the deal is there with that.
And he probably figures that Flash of Mischief's not going to win either. So just get on the one that you know the best.
Yeah, Flash of Mischief just hasn't ran very well this year. Let's be real about it. Just not good. Very good year last year. Hasn't been the same this year.
Yeah. Isaac, hang on your NBA questions. I've got those written down, so we won't miss them. We've got to go over a few more of these races, and hang on, and we'll discuss that because those are two interesting things you've got there.
Yep, we'll talk about the NBA just a little bit after this. So, all right, let's do it, and let's move on to Indiana. So we'll go to Horseshoe Indianapolis. Also on Saturday, it's Indiana Oaks and the Indiana Derby. We'll go to the Indiana Oaks first, a mile and 16th race, $200,000 purse here. Field of 8, we do believe Candy Raid will run in this spot. This horse, like I said, coming off a 9th place finish in the Kentucky Oaks 2 races back before finishing 5th on the turf last time out. We do believe she will run here. Napa Candy is the 2 horse. This horse has been beaten pretty badly against allowance runners at Churchill in her last 2 starts. How about this one? The number 3 Patna. This horse was a Mike Somich stable him up horse after her debut race at Fairgrounds, and all she's done is come back to win 2 races impressively, a maiden special weight and then an allowance last time out. The number 4 is Silverleaf. This horse comes back off a 9-day break. Yes, that's right. Just 9 days ago, this horse broke her maiden at Churchill Downs by 9. It was very, very impressive. The number 5 is Interstate Daydream. This horse won the Black Eyed Susan last time out and did it pretty impressively by over a length. 2 races back, was 3rd Nest in the Ashland Stakes. 5 is North County. This horse coming off a layoff. Haven't seen her since April, where she was 4th at Turfway Park in the Bourbonnette Oaks. The number 7 is Runaway Wife. This horse was able to defeat Silverleaf, the 4 horse, 2 races back before coming back just 8 days ago. Yes, just 8 days ago at Churchill Downs and finishing 2nd, I should say, in an allowance to Scratch Cat in a really nice race. And then the 8 is 63 Caliber. This horse coming off 2 straight wins here at the local track at Horseshoe Indianapolis. So interesting field right here of 8 runners. Boy, who do you like in this one?
Well, I have 3 circled. I have 5, 1, and 3.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the 5 the best.
Yeah, you'd have to say the 5 is far and away the most established horse in the race.
Yeah. The win at the Pimlico, I think, solidifies her in this one. So I think if she's ready, she wins easy. Don't you? I mean, I don't think anybody else can beat her if she's ready to go.
Well, it's interesting that Florent Giroux has ridden Patna, the 3 horse, and of course Interstate Daydream, and Florent is on Interstate Daydream. Yeah. So that kind of tells you what they think. Dennis makes a great point. I was going to bring it up. He beat me to it. He said Patna scratched for this. Should have ran Saturday at Churchill Downs. What he's talking about, she was entered in a sprint stakes to take on Wicked Halo at Churchill Downs. I cannot remember the name of the stakes, but it was an ungraded stakes. And she scratched out. Well, that made Wicked Halo like 1-9 to win. Right. She did. Why run here against your stablemate, I think is the point. Yeah. I don't know. Do you find that strange as well?
Yeah, I don't get that at all. I could see maybe scratching out at Churchill, thinking you're not going to beat Wicked Halo, maybe. Mm-hmm. But why not go somewhere else, like the Iowa Derby?
Well, Iowa Oaks, yeah.
I mean, Iowa Oaks, yeah. Yeah, why not go to that?
It is interesting. He is sending horses, he being Brad Cox, sending horses up to Iowa.
Yeah, a bunch.
you would think that would make more sense than trying to run against your stablemate here.
Yeah.
It's odd. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that one there, Dennis, but it's a good point. I'm not sure what's going on.
Perhaps the owners have something to do with it too.
Yeah, maybe the owners wanted to run here. I don't know what the situation is, but
sometimes it's out of the trainer's hands. Sometimes,
sometimes it is. Well, now that I see the owner's Juddmonte, so there's no way that's a thing. Nobody would be worried about that from them. So
I don't know. It doesn't make a lot of sense with the 5 being as good a horse as she appears to be.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Dennis says, doesn't know why Juddmonte would care. Davey says maybe the horses ship better together. I don't think, like when the 5 went up to Pimlico, I know the 3 wasn't there. So I don't think that's it. I mean, logically, I see where you're going.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
But I don't know that that's it. It's a head scratcher.
It just seems like you're wasting a race for either one of them, really, when you're going head to head like that. So it's odd.
It is very odd to me as well. What about this? Okay, I do want to get into this because these races were really fresh. Silverleaf 9 days ago, really impressive. But the horse that beat Silverleaf and beat her easily came back to lose last time out, and that was Runaway Wife. They're both back here.
Yeah.
Give either one of those horses a chance?
I looked at the 7 a little bit.
Runaway Wife.
Are you getting at maybe what the odds are here? Are the line's a little strange?
Well, I'm just getting at, do you think they can jump off 8 and 9 days rest?
No.
And no, so just you tossed them.
But he does this all the time.
Yeah, Kenny McPeak is running these 2 horses off 8 and 9 days rest, and we'll talk about Rattle and Roll off a 7-day rest.
This isn't unusual for him, and that's the way he trains, and this is not unusual at all. I don't think the horses are as good as number 5 anyway. So
yeah, I think that's the big key. Maybe underneath.
Yeah.
Maybe one of these McPeak horses gets it done. It's. I don't know. I saw this, was like, what is going on here? He has wheeled back horses. Let's see. Within 8 to 14 days, he's done it 19 times in the last year, and they've won 11% of the time. So 2 out of 19, basically, is what that is. He's going to do it 3 times, assuming all 3 of these horses are going to run, 2 here, 1 in the next race.
Mm-hmm.
And, we'll see.
It's a little strange.
Yeah. Davey says he's seen Broberg. Yes. So saw Broberg race a horse back-to-back nights, won the second night.
I've seen that a couple of times out of trainers.
Yeah, I've seen that from Carl.
Typically
a lot. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm gonna just play the 5 here and not worry about anybody else. I don't think. Maybe the 3. We'll see. We'll see if the 3 stays in. That'll be the question.
That's true.
All right, we got to move on here. The Indiana Derby is next. The next race on the card. It'll close out Indiana Grand on Saturday, race 12. Like I said, grade 3 Indiana Derby, mile and 16, $300,000 purse, field of 10. I'll run through them quickly. The number 1 is Trademark. I said 10 because he finished 10th last time out in the Pat Day Mile. The number 2 is First Glimpse. Last time out, finished 2nd in an allowance over this track. The 3 is Mo Wins. This horse, Indiana bred, so an Indiana bred going to try it, just like Ain't Life Grand is going to try the Iowa Derby as an Iowa bred. Last time out, the horse was a winner by 5 1/4 in an Indiana bred stakes. The 4 horse is King Ottoman. This horse comes up for Steve Asmussen after winning the Texas Derby last time out by a head in a pretty exciting race. Number 5, New Year's Fever, is 2 for 2, another Indiana bred. Both wins came against Indiana bred company in a maiden and then in an allowance. We talked about it. This is the morning line favorite. Number 6, Rattle and Roll. Just 7 days ago, he did look impressive in a stakes win at Churchill Downs. It was the American Derby. He beat Kuchar and he beat Red Run in that race. So we'll see if Rattle and Roll can make it 2 in a row and 2 in 1 week. The 7 Best Actor comes off 2 wins for Brad Cox. Won a maiden special weight at Oaklawn in April and then came back to win a allowance race on June 12th at Churchill Downs by 4 lengths. Achutator, I think is how they told me to say it in the chat.
Actuator.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Was the winner at a maiden special weight going 7 furlongs. Un Ojo is back, the 9 horse. This horse is back after finishing 8th in the Arkansas Derby. Of course, 2 races back. Won the Rebel over Ethereal Road and Barber Road. And then finally, the 10 is Flower Blue. This horse was 6th last time out in the Texas Derby. Who do you like in this spot?
Well, I have the 9. No, that's not the 9. The 7. Can't read my writing. The 7, the 4, and the 6. I think I'm going to take a shot at the 6 not winning. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be between the 7 and the 4, and I think I like the 7 the best. You got to look at Rattle and Roll because of the races, the horse has been in. Mm-hmm. McPeak has ran that horse in a lot of big-time races, and it's run pretty well. Can he come back in a week? That's the thing. Most horses can't, or they don't try that, especially good ones. So this is a good horse. So that's kind of an odd thing to me for him to put him in there just a week after a win. He was very impressive. Maybe he didn't think that race took anything out of him. I don't know. The 7 horse, very impressive in its last race, an $80,000 allowance, won by 4 lengths, seems to be getting better. I think that's worth a shot at 4-1. And then the Asmussen horse, the only race the horse has ever won is the Texas Derby. So he hadn't even broke his maiden when he won that race. So is that one of these horses that's come on strong for Asmussen late in the game? Kind of looks like it. So I like the 7 and the 4, and throw the 6 in there too.
Every horse in this race kind of makes my head hurt a little bit. So you look at Best Actor, won a sloppy maiden special weight, looked pretty good at Oaklawn. They tried to enter this horse in a turf race next out, and I don't know. I mean, why would you? No, actually, take that back. Made track only entry. Never mind. Scratch that. I can't read my own writing now. I said turf, entered for turf, MTO. So forgot the MTO. So anyway, but still, this horse is kind of untested. So I'm just not 100% sure. Speed figures are solid, but they're not out of this world. Rattle and Roll, no. King Ottoman is one I really want to try.
Yeah.
The breeding is amazing. A Curlin horse out of a Tappet mare. But this horse just wasn't very good in the first 3 starts. Really didn't have much of an excuse to lose in any of those. Weren't like the best horses that beat him in those maiden special weights.
Well, don't forget now, Curlin did not even run as a 2-year-old.
Well, I know, but still, I don't know. He's probably gonna have to be on the ticket somewhere, but I just can't.
Well, who are you going with then?
I went with Best Actor on top, but I don't love it. I'm gonna go pretty deep in this one. I will probably single in the 11th with the 5 horse for Cox, and then probably play 4 or 5 here. I'll get the 8 involved a little bit.
I think you got to get the 8 in there. Yes, I do. Now, what do you think about the trainer change on the 9?
Well,
he has not run for Diodoro yet, which I think is a little. I don't know when he wasn't claimed, was he? Didn't they just change trainers?
I'm wondering if Ricky Corville doesn't have a license to run in Indiana.
Oh, okay.
Because the horse ran 3 times, and then when they went up to Aqueduct, they changed, and when they came back to Oaklawn, they changed right back.
Okay.
So I'm wondering if that's what it is. He doesn't have a license. I hadn't heard of this horse getting transferred or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if that may be the case.
Could be
there. Yeah, I don't know. Although I don't know how it works with trainers, but I know owners, it's very easy to get a license.
Yeah, you would think so.
Yeah.
I think with Diodoro in charge, you might, if you're going to go 5 deep, you might have to throw him in there. I don't know.
I've never believed in that horse. There's a lot of pace in this race on paper, so maybe, the horse gets and Dennis says he believes the change happened a little bit ago. So
Okay.
Maybe I just missed that because I don't care about Uno Ho.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting though. If it's Diodoro if he's had him for a while, can he get a little bit more out of him?
Yeah. Well, I think he can. I think he's
Yeah.
proven that.
I just can't go with that horse.
Well, I know, but if you're going like 5 deep, you might.
This horse Mowens, this Indiana bred, he's not bad. He kind of put it all together when stretching out in distance. And you look at the 2 races around 2 turns that he has. He won by 6 and he won by 5. John Court comes back up to ride, came back up last time. I think in a race like this, I think that horse has got a shot to hit the board. I would take a long look at this 3 horse. Did you consider the 3 at all?
No.
Okay. you hate state breds. Wow. Just a hard no. Okay.
I'm not sold on the trainer jockey combination there too much.
All right. Well, I can't really argue there.
So
are you going with the 7 on top?
I think I'll go with the 4.
Okay, you're going to go King Ottoman. Well, gosh, I like that, but I'm going to go 7. You're going to go 4.
Well, I would go 4-7, so it's the same thing basically.
Well, no, yeah, but sorry. Hey, who are you betting to win? You're betting the 4. So
I think so because I just don't. I think that may be a horse that's coming on. Who knows?
Then it says the change happened on June 7th. So there you go.
He's had a month with the horse.
He's had a month. So there's no telling what that horse might do.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, let's move on to our final ones. Let's go to the Belmont Oaks. And boy, we got 2 great Grade 1 races we're going to talk about here for Belmont. It's closing weekend. This will be the last Saturday of the season at Belmont Park. It's a Grade 1 Belmont Oaks going 1.25 miles on the turf. $700,000 field. It's a big. I don't want to read all these off. It's a big field. Who do we like here in the Belmont Oaks?
I went 5-1-6-2.
So the 5 is Consumer Spending. That's who you put on top. Winner of 2 straight races. So you went 5-1. McCulloch, the 1 horse, like you said, has finished 2nd in 2 straight stakes races.
Mm-hmm.
You had the 6 New Year's Eve. That horse was able to beat McCulloch last time out at 14-1 at Churchill Downs. And then you had Cairo Memories, you said, was the other one, the 2?
Yeah.
Okay, winner of 2 in a row at Santa Anita. So start with Consumer Spending. Why'd you have this horse on top?
Well, to me, on all the races we've done, I like this one the best. That's my best bet in all the ones we've done. This to me I just think she's better. 2-2, Chad Brown. Come on, what else do you want? Turf. First in the Grade 2. I wrote this down. I can't read it. The Wonder again. This year, 4 for 6 lifetime. I just think this horse is better than the rest of them. And I'm a little wondering. I guess Manny Franco has rode this horse most of the time, and of all the ones he's got, the jockeys he's got, Manny Franco's probably rated a little bit lower than the other 2 that are in this. So that is a head scratcher a little bit, but that's the one I like the most. I like that 1 a lot too. I think it's between the 5 and the 1. So I think it's a 1-2 Chad Brown exacta.
Well, we're going to be very, very different on this one.
All right.
My favorite Chad Brown horse is the number 3 Hottie.
Really?
Yes. Now, I like McCulloch 2nd. I like Consumer Spending 3rd when it comes to just the Chad Brown horses, but I like Hottie the best.
Okay.
I thought her win in the Pin Oaks was just super. I thought she was great all year last year to almost win the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf off of basically a maiden win. Yeah, that was pretty darn good. So I do like Hottie for Chad. I do like McCulloch and Consumer Spending. Can't argue there. I don't have any of those 3 on top. I don't have any of those 3 in 2nd. I have in 1st the number 10 Concert Hull coming in for Aiden O'Brien and Ryan Moore. This horse has been in 3 straight Group 1 races overseas. Epsom, I'm telling you, these are very, very tough races this horse has been involved in. She was competitive in all 3 of them. 1.25 miles, right up her alley, where I'm a little worried some of these other horses here in the United States at mile and a quarter might get him a little bit, especially with Hottie. I really like Hottie. Not sure about the distance there. But anyway, I like Concert Hall a lot in this spot. I think she comes over and gets it done. And sticking with that theme, I like the number 4 With the Moonlight for Appleby coming in here second. Frankie Dettori Rise, he's no stranger to anybody that follows racing. One of the best jockeys in the world. 2 races back, got a win at Newmarket. Last time out, tried Group 1 company at Epsom, and it just did not go well at all. This horse was just a no-show. But Appleby brings this horse over. He had great success last year doing so. I think he will be tough here. By the way, Appleby, Dettori have raced together 3 times in the last year in the United States. They've won all 3. So I am going to go the 10 Concert Hall, the 4 With the Moonlight, and then I'll sprinkle in Hottie, Consumer Spending, and McCulloch in the bottom places. I know you don't like international horses.
No. I was going to just clarify everything here. I don't know how to read what those international horses have done. I don't understand the races like you do. So I have to excuse my ignorance, or pardon my ignorance on that. I have heard of number 10 though. So I almost threw him in there. But when I look at what happens in Europe, I don't understand any of it. So
well, and it's actually came back to be very good for you at times on the guides, because we're all trying to get those European horses and you don't play them, and sometimes you'll get a big price. Well, like Regal Glory for a good example. I mean, everybody was on Speak the Devil, and you're like, I don't care about that European horse. And so Dennis says, if I gave you 4 to 5 on Euros and 6 to 5 on American trainers, who would you take? Well, my top 2 choices are European trainers, so I would have to go European in that situation. So, all right, final one. We're going to go down to the Belmont Derby now. Another one. I'm not going to read all of them because it's a field of 13 horses lining up for this year's Belmont Derby. Of course, a grade 1 race going a mile and a quarter on the turf, worth $1 million. This is the toughest field of the year, in my opinion.
Yep.
This was an awesome group. There's very little that you could kind of chuck out of here. I only see one, and it's a Kenny McPeak trainee Classic Causeway. All right. Let's hear this one.
This is impossible. I mean, this reminds me of a $12,500 claimer non-winners of 2.
Mm-hmm.
There's just nothing to choose from in this, really. And then when you don't have the odds out there either, when you're ignorant like me on some of this stuff, I mean, come on. So, and again, I'm just going to ask you, because we got 4 European horses. Are any of those your favorites?
Yeah, I'm going to go. I've been debating on this. I'm going to go with Nation's Pride.
Okay.
On top. That is the 10 horse. And again, it's Frankie Dettori and it's Appleby. This horse was a no-show last time out. Just did not run very well. But the 2 races before that at Maidan was a winner and then went up to Newmarket and won. So I like Nation's Pride a lot, and I like that Dettori is going to be aboard. I do like the 13 Stone Age, but I hate the post. That's the problem. This horse won 2 in a row, then went up to a Group 1 company last time out in a $2 million race, the Kazoo Derby, and the horse just didn't run very well. There's no way around that, but let me tell you something. That's a really, really tough race. By the way, the 10 Nation's Pride's coming out of that race as well. That's one of the toughest races in the world to win. So those 2 horses are going to be awfully tough in here, the 10 and the 13. I went on 10 on top. The other 2 international runners I don't like quite as well. And then when it comes to runners in the United States, it is a mess trying to figure out which one to pick. Who did you like out of the United States runners?
Yeah, pick out one out of that. What do you think of the 2?
Yeah, Stolen Base is one I thought of. The horse won the Grade 2 American Stakes last time out.
Hasn't run since.
Yeah, it runs better on the turf, obviously, than the synthetic. I don't know.
Yeah,
I think this horse. I think this horse is good enough. If the Europeans aren't their best, I think this horse is good enough. But
okay, so is that your top choice of the Americans, of the United States horses?
I can't believe I'm going to say it. I
like
Tiz the Bomb. I like Tiz the Bomb. Out of the Americans, I do.
I can't do it. if I was going to go to the McPeak, I probably would do the 4, but I don't like it. I don't like that horse either. What do you think about the 5?
Yeah, Grand Sonata, pretty good horse. I would probably take Side Dog over this horse, the 7, because Side Dog was able to beat Grand Sonata. Pedigree wise, I really think Side Dog has got the pedigree to get it done, but just didn't run very well last time out, and that bothers me. But yeah, pedigree wise, I do like Side Dog a lot. But God, it almost makes me sick. But I just think Tiz the Bomb, if he's got anything left in the tank after these weird races he's been in, his turf races are awfully good.
I think I like the 2 best of the Americans, or the U.S. horses. But I don't like it well. So if that 10 is better than what you say, or better, or as good as what you say, he's probably going to win.
Yeah, I like the 10 and 13 quite a bit here. Dan has a question, and Dan, it is a head scratcher. He says, "What do you guys make of Classic Causeway showing up here?" Head scratcher to me. So here's the deal. This horse was managed almost picture perfectly up to the Tampa Bay Derby in great spots, picked up wins, really looking good. And for some reason, after the Tampa Bay Derby, they threw him in the Florida Derby. I don't get it. I don't know why you did that. There was no reason to do that. It was not planned, and he was awful. Well, they probably should have just kind of backed off of him. Instead, they pushed on to the Kentucky Derby. Not good again. He shows up in a perfect spot, the Ohio Derby. He shows a little bit of life. Like, I thought he ran well. So I'm thinking, all right, Dan, we're going to put this horse in like the West Virginia Derby next. Perfect. He might be ready. And then 14 days later, we're in the freaking Belmont Derby.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you wanted to try the turf, I'm not against that. But to try it here is insanity. It's crazy. I probably just talked him right into the winner's circle.
You probably did.
This is a crazy entry.
You ever seen a trainer get the quality horses that this guy gets and doesn't win very many races?
Yeah,
he's got very good horses.
I'm just scratching my head over this one. I don't get it, because it seemed like to me we had a horse that was in pretty good form and doing what he needed to be doing. He totally fell off a cliff. Part of that was just they got ambitious, weird entries. Kenny McPeak gets him, and honestly, again, found a good race for him. Had him ready to fire. He showed up, ran a good race when everybody's kind of bashing McPeak here for this entry, and it is crazy. But he did. That was a good spot. He got him ready. And then we did this. I can't believe it. I'm shocked. And the other thing is there's other speed in this race. I don't think this horse is going to get an easy lead here. I can't see it.
He does some interesting stuff.
Yeah. Could he be a rabbit for the 4 Tiz the Bomb?
Well,
that's possible. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if maybe that's it. Could he scratch? Yeah. Anytime McPeak enters, he could scratch. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But they maybe Tiz the Bomb, and this is another one. Tiz the Bomb, a dominant turf horse, and trying the dirt with him.
Yeah.
So, but listen, I do think he's going to have a good shot in this one. So, all right, who did you end up going with on top?
Well, you talked me into the 10 because I didn't like any of the other ones anyway. So I would go with the 10. I don't think these U.S. horses are that good in this.
I'm gonna do something like 10, 13, 9, 7. I think in this one.
Yeah, that 2, I kind of like that 2.
Yeah. So Dan says he didn't think about the rabbit angle, but there's other speed. When you enter, you're not 100% sure who else is going to be in there. You got a decent idea. So maybe he was just making sure the speed was going to be there. Yeah. I don't know. That's it. Yeah. It's a head scratcher for sure. But he's here, and we'll see what he does. Like I said, I probably just talked him into the winner's circle.
Right.
He's not going to be anywhere close to any of my tickets. I can tell you that. So, yeah, it's going to be a good race. This one will give you a headache for sure. I hope we can get half of them to the Saratoga Derby out of this. It'll be good. So, We shall see. All right, we've got just a few minutes. I've got a vet visit for the cat here, so we got to wrap it up. But we do need to talk a little bit about sports for a second. Do you want to get to Isaac's questions first?
Yeah, let's get real quick. The first one was about Durant staying with the Nets and Irving going to the Lakers. Well, it'd kind of be like the Lakers should take Irving, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Could he play with LeBron? And they'd have to get rid of Westbrook, wouldn't they?
I don't know what their situation is with that.
Yeah,
I haven't followed their situation all that closely, but yes, I would think so.
Yeah, I don't think that's happening. Durant's going to leave the Nets if the Nets can find a place for him, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But the Nets have the upper hand because he's under contract for 4 more years. So we'll just have to see on that one. His other question was about a local kid from around here named Aminu Muhammad, who played for Georgetown this year. And he played at a prep school here in Springfield at Class 2, which is very small for Missouri, and was absolutely the greatest athlete I have ever been next to. We played against him where I coached, and he was a man amongst boys. He went to Georgetown this year, and Georgetown was god-awful. They were just absolutely terrible. He was everybody around here, it was everywhere, thought he would be a top 10 draft pick the first year he came out of college. He was not. And I think part of it was because the team he played on was so bad. But he went ahead and declared for the draft, and I think he's a free agent. And Isaac's question, and it was a very good one, should he have waited another year? And I think he should have. The thing with Aminu that may hurt him in the pros, he's not a great outside shooter. He's good, but he's not great. And I think that holds him back some because he's about 6'8", 6'9", something like that, but he's an outside guy. He's not an inside person. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But I'm kind of like you, Isaac. I think he should have waited another year. Maybe Georgetown would have been better. He would have had some help around him because when you have absolutely no help, and he didn't, teams can key on you and stop you. So anyway, that answers that question.
This is kind of an example to kind of show people what can happen to these athletes, and we got to see it firsthand.
Yeah.
He was one, and you kind of mentioned it. It was a business from him even when he was like a sophomore in high school, right? And he had the plan of, I'll go to high school, 1 year college, NBA, and that's it. Yeah. This guy was a can't miss. He's a can't miss. He's going to be the best. He's a top 10 guy. And then you have a college year where you don't get a lot of attention, and all of a sudden he's signing a free agency deal.
Right.
Or if he stays in school, who knows what happens. It's weird.
Yeah, his story was he came from Africa, and he played on a travel on those AAU big-time travel teams out of Washington, D.C. His brother was at Missouri State in Springfield, Missouri. And so he came to a prep school out of Springfield to be near his brother and played there. It's a private school. And it was 2A competition, but no one would play them. Once he got there, they couldn't find anybody to play. So they played all the big schools around here because that's the only people that would play him. So you got to wonder maybe if that level of competition, hurt him. He went to Georgetown because Georgetown's in Washington, D.C., and that's where his AAU team was. Everybody recruited him, though. You'd go to games, and Bill Self would be there. Roy Williams, when he was at North Carolina, was there. All the guys wanted him. He is a man amongst boys. But I think another year might have helped him. But I don't know. If you're good enough, you can make it. So we'll see what happens. I think he's playing in what do they call it? The G League or the D League, whatever it is, this summer. So anyway.
Do you think he'll make it? Do you think he'll make the team?
I just don't think he shoots the ball well enough. I just don't. He's not that great an outside shooter. We'll just have to see. I saw him play not a lot, but some. He scored a lot of points just because he was so athletic, more athletic than the kids he played against. And he got a lot of points on offensive rebounds, things of that nature, taking it to the hole. Nobody could stop him much. but his outside shooting's a little suspect. And in the pros, you got to be able to shoot the ball. It's obvious by watching him. So
yeah.
I don't know. That's
well, that'll be interesting. Hopefully he does. That'd be sad if he didn't. I definitely think. Yeah. All right. Very quickly, conference realignment. We don't have any new news. We do have a lot of rumors going on.
I think that's very briefly. Are we going to go to? I think the question is: are we going to go to 2 super duper conferences and the rest is fending for themselves?
Yeah.
Or are we going to try to do what a lot of people have said for years is going to happen? 4 16-team conferences.
I don't know if 16 is going to be enough. I think we might see 20.
You think we go to 20-team conferences? See, I just don't understand that. I just don't.
Essentially, you're going to have 20 4-team conferences, right? But you're going to have 8 conferences, basically, because they're going to split into 10s.
That's right. And you cannot play each other in football.
Right. Basically, that's what you're going to see. And I think the Big Ten is well on their way to getting 20. And when they do, the SEC will gobble up.
They'll have to.
Yeah. And then you're going to have the Big 12 and the Pac-12 merge into one with the leftovers. And then I don't know what's going to happen with like the leftover ACC group.
Yeah.
That's going to be interesting.
It is. If you went the 16 route, the 4 16s, which would make more sense. So obviously they're not going to do it. The ACC would just need 2 more to get to 16. It's ACC. The SEC already has 16.
Yeah.
The Big Ten has 16, right?
Yeah. I think they're 14 now.
Are they at 14? I thought they already had 14. They did, and they got 2 more.
So that's what you mean now. Yeah, with USC, UCLA.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So
sorry. Yeah.
The ACC could get 2 more and get to 16. Then you could combine the best of the Pac-12 with the Big 12, and you'd have your other 16 teams. That would be the easiest. So they're obviously not going to do that. But I don't know why you want 20 teams, because there's, like in football, let's use the SEC. You're going to have a East and a West. There's no way you can play all of those teams in football.
You're going to play the teams that are in your side of it, and then you're going to play maybe 1 or 2 schools from the other side of it.
Aaron, but if you have 10, you're going to play 9 of your games are going to be your division team. You don't have any more games left unless you don't play non-conference games, and you just play.
I was thinking about this the other day. I think there's a better than average chance, one time this all kind of shakes out, that Oklahoma will play very similar teams to what they were playing in the Big 12.
It's quite possible, because I could see Oklahoma State coming into the SEC.
Yeah.
And who knows? Do you think maybe that was planned all along? It's possible.
I don't think
so. The SEC, where are they going to – who else are they going to grab? Are they going to grab Clemson, obviously?
Clemson, Florida State. I think they would go that direction, yeah.
Okay, so that would give them 18. Oklahoma State would be 19. Because Oklahoma State, I think, is good enough to be in the SEC in all sports.
Yeah.
I mean, they deserve it. Their football is really good. So then, do you take Miami? I don't think people realize Miami is not that sought after. Miami is, in their own mind, is really good, but I don't think anybody else really looks at them. They probably would take them, though, to get the Miami market.
Yeah.
But nobody in Miami gives a shit about Miami. They don't care. No. Down there, they don't even have their own facility to play football in. So, that's, I guess, who the SEC. The big kicker would be Notre Dame. Would they go to the ACC, or would they crap all over them and go to the Big Ten? To me, they would be smarter to go to the ACC. Well, wait a minute. There's not going to be an ACC, is there?
That's just it. You have to, right now, you need to be in the Big Ten or you need to be in the SEC. Yeah. Because, listen, if the SEC does actually get Florida State and Clemson, the ACC's done.
It's done.
And I don't. That's a thing. Those schools like a Duke, a North Carolina, those type of schools, I don't know where they fall in this.
I don't either.
Wake Forest, schools like that.
They're screwed.
Yeah,
they just are, because they don't have the fan base. They don't have the name. They just, in football, the sport that drives everything. It's like Kansas. What's going to happen to them?
Mm-hmm.
In football, they're nothing. Basketball, they're as good as anybody. So will somebody take them because they're so good in basketball?
Where does Louisville go? That's another school.
Well, it's screwed, Dennis. They're just screwed. They really are.
I think the SEC is where they need to be, but I don't know what the interest is on either side.
Want them?
I don't know. I think they're an SEC school.
Just to throw this out, Dennis, and I'm not knocking Louisville at all. I would take Cincinnati over Louisville. It's because of football.
I don't know that I would do that. I don't know. I think they're about the same.
I don't know.
Cincinnati or Louisville, both.
Well, here's the other thing too, Aaron, that is so okay. Let's just look at the SEC for just a second. This is a show where you need to save for later down the line, because I know you got to go. You got a school like Vanderbilt, okay, that's in the SEC. They aren't worth a crap. Mm-hmm. But there they are, locked into this power conference. And then you take a Louisville or a Cincinnati or a Stanford, someone like that who's on the outside, or an Oklahoma State that's on the outside looking in.
I know.
Just because, well, let's put Missouri in that category too. Missouri is no better than Louisville. Mm-hmm. They're no better than Stanford. They're no better than Oklahoma State, but they're already in the SEC. Mm-hmm. And I know what you're saying, Dennis, about Louisville overall. Their overall program is good. I agree with you totally. But that's not what this is about.
Yeah. That's the problem.
That's the problem. And you look at the Big Ten. You got Rutgers. You got Maryland. You got Indiana. Northwestern are already locked into these conferences, which leaves out your Oklahoma States and all that I just said. And it's crazy, is what it is.
It
really is.
It is. And yeah, I mean, the Louisville situation, that's one of those tweener schools that I was talking about. I think they can get to the SEC. I really do. I think there'll be enough interest there.
Maybe.
They're in that situation. Like I said, Kansas State, Iowa State, not Iowa.
The SEC goes to 20, Clemson and Florida State are a lock, right? Mm-hmm. And you would think Miami.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Miami would beat out Louisville, wouldn't you?
Probably. Yep.
So then it would come down to Oklahoma State and Louisville, I think.
I think they would take Louisville in that situation.
Probably.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they would take Louisville. Daniel says he's in Michigan. There's strong rumors for years about Iowa State and Pittsburgh joining the Big Ten. I think that would happen. Yes. Probably
would. Iowa State I've heard before, and I never knew this until we were discussing realignment last year, that Iowa State's, and this is so funny because this has nothing to do with it, but they say it does, their academics match up with the Big Ten's quote unquote superior academics.
Right.
This has nothing to do with academics. This has money, dollars written all over it.
I really believe COVID has escalated all of it. I think it was going to happen, and then COVID happened, and these schools got hurting for money, and so they just said, well, we have to make the move.
Are you thinking COVID messed up the brains of these college presidents?
No, I think it's all about money. And when you are making a lot of money and then it all goes away for a year and a half, and it's very little, you've got to make moves to get it back.
Truth is bragging here on Bama. You're going to get no argument from us.
No. No argument here. I think
no argument from us.
Well, good news, Truth.
I got circled on my calendar, and you better come through, Truth, and that's when Alabama plays Texas. You better kick the crap out of it. The game I'll be rooting for Alabama.
The good news, Truth, is I don't think we're here during the football season This show is usually all about football.
Yeah.
So you're really going to enjoy it. And we do a lot of college football. So
yeah, we get into pros some too. But if you've never watched our show and even some of the horse racing, or the betting thing we do every day now, or Wednesdays or so, whatever it is, Aaron and Aaron's passion is college football. I mean, horse racing, obviously, is where he makes his living, but his passion is college football. Yeah. And it's something that he and I do. We are huge Oklahoma fans. Mm-hmm. So we're kind of, if you're an Alabama fan, you know where we're coming from.
Yep. And like I said, Truth, I don't think you were around during football last year, but
we're going to love the show.
You will like this show for sure. Yeah.
And Miami, you're right. They haven't been very good in a long time. So,
no.
Anyway.
Doesn't matter, though. They got a big market, and that's the key.
They do, and they got a name. They used to be pretty good. So.
For sure. All right. I got to go. Got to take Kitty to the vet. Hopefully it's the last vet visit. Gets the stitches out today. So hopefully she's good to go after this. Let's hope. They know we're at the vet by first name now. So.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to get out of here now. Thanks, everybody, for joining us, and we will see you next time. Let's see. I think we'll be back probably Wednesday of next week. Who knows? We'll see. So, all right, guys.
Thank you.
We'll talk to you later.
This has been a presentation of RacingDudes.com, your destination for all things horse racing and sports betting. Whether you want free winners, expert insider picks, up-to-the-minute trackside weather reports, or podcasts and videos for bettors of all skill levels. Never make another wager without visiting the Racing Dudes. First,